Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Speaking of Diamonds. My name is Rich. Welcome on in to this whip and chat here today. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully, you'll like a little bit of what you see here, and you will go ahead and like the video and subscribe. For those of you who've been here before, welcome back. Nice to have you again. Please make sure to click that thumbs up. It does help the channel. I would appreciate that. Today, wanted to do just a little bit of a whip and chat. We're right now we're in between the two holidays of Christmas and New Year's. A little bit of time to decompress, catch up a little bit, and also just talk about some items of interest that I have ran across in the past week or so. One of the things that I just wanted to say before I get too far into this is I really appreciate each and every one of you um, for many different reasons. First of all, the response to my video and this channel has been amazing. And thank you so much for your support. And I look forward to continuing to bring you useful and or relevant or interesting content, or all three, hopefully. But so there's that. But also, just as diamond painters, one of the things that I've come to quickly realize is that diamond painting is really good for my mental health and my mood and whatnot. And it allows me to really just, you know, detach as much as I need to, or think a little bit more than I, on things that I need to, what have you. But one of the things that I have really noticed is um, just like diamond painting is really essentially good for my soul. So are you guys. And let me help you understand what I mean by that. So I think it was last week, there was a day that I just, work was work. Um, it was, sort of crappy weather, no sun, etc. I was just feeling sort of blah. So I took a day off of work, mental health day, if you will. And of course, I slept in because that's what you do on a day off. Although I was up early, I get my dog all situated, and then we go back to bed. And he loves it because he's like, "Ooh, big nap day." But I was just feeling sort of ho-hum and, I don't know, maybe I'll just stay in bed all day. I don't know. So then I came into the office here and I was like, well, maybe I'll diamond paint. And I'm like, I don't really feel like diamond painting. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I need to do a video. It's time for me to do a whip and chat. I think I had to do. Um, so I immediately set up and started doing the whip and chat. I felt so good after. Just, I don't know exactly why. I'm not a professional, but I felt so good after. I was relaxed. I was relieved. I was happy. I was no longer in those doldrums. And I don't know if it was because sort of had someone to talk to. I know it was definitely talking about diamond painting. I love talking about diamond painting. So that really lifts up my spirits. But I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to publish these videos, your interest in these videos, because it really is good for me. It's like another level of self-care above diamond painting. So thank you for that. So before I get any further than this, tell you what I'm working on and what I'm working with. So today I'm working on actually a custom painting that I designed. and had made. And I'll pop a picture of it up on the screen here. And it sort of celebrates community, diamond painting community, very big. I'm very big on diamond painting community. And what I did was there's a handful of people that I speak to almost on a daily basis. Um, and I marked them on the map with diamonds. And subsequently, then the folks that maybe I don't speak to as much, but I'm still close with, I'm going to continue to add, and like I'll remove some diamonds and put a new diamond down as I meet new people or become closer with people, what have you. I then sent copies or versions of this diamond painting to the people that have the red diamonds, um, with the hope that they too will leave my diamond on there, but also add their friends and stuff like that. So I just thought it was a really neat way to sort of celebrate community. So I'm working on that. This is just sort of my in-between piece between um, finishing up, well, not finishing up, but putting away my Christmas canvas. I still have a cross stitch conversion, WIP standing for work in progress. I will be kitting up another cross stitch conversion for a temperature chart, which was talked a little bit about in my last video. That will probably be a series just to follow through the year-long progression of working on that temperature chart. And then I have another canvas that I will be kitting up for Ticket to Ride, which is an event that starts in January. I will put a link to the group, the Facebook group, Diamond Painting Events. They list out all of the, not, well, most of the events that get reported to them. They consolidate it all into one place. So it's a great place to go if you're looking for some events to participate in, or even if you just want to follow along with the event for the community aspect and maybe not participate from a canvas standpoint, you can do that as well. So that's what I'm working on here. I am working out of Trabricks. Y'all heard about these Trabricks? They have the attached lid, and the grid at the bottom. And the whole concept here is that you don't need to be. It's sort of like you're working in your trays, but you don't have to, well, you can have a tray tower, but that's sort of the gist of this product. This is the second version of Trabricks that have some type of anti-static technology. I don't know what they did to it, but it does seem to work. The static is kept to a minimum. I tried the first version of these and I destashed them because I did not like them. I still am on the fence with them because part of the problem that I have is, especially when you have a smaller amount of drills in here, when you go to um, get your lines put together here, you're sort of running out of space with this lid. It takes up just a little room, and it just seems awkward for me. I also don't like the fact that it's a clear bottom because, as you can see, I'm setting these on my picture, and this blue is maybe a little bit darker, but when I get to the lighter colors, it's hard to see the drills. So that's probably a quick and dirty review here of the Trabricks, but I will talk more about storage options and tray options in a future video. This is something else I'm trying out. I got this on a shop on Etsy that I'll link below, but I did a reverse Google image search, and these came up as some type of little cloth that are used during manicures. like to wipe things, like I don't know if it was to wipe the polish off. I don't know if it was for the polish remover, but it came up on Amazon as some type of manicure product. So I had asked the shop owner, I says, can you tell me, are these like treated with anything? Like, how are these actually fixing the static? Because normally I would use a dryer sheet. And, obviously when you feel a dryer sheet, it's a little oily, there's something on it. So that's what I'm assuming is helping the static, but these don't have anything on them. They're not treated with anything. That's what I had asked the shop owner, because what I didn't want is to get something that was going to coat my drills in some type of oil. But I cut them in fours and then I put them in here, and I was using them in another kit in my round art dot containers. I think they're working. I don't want to make a proclamation either way, pro or con. So this will be in a future video to talk about it, because I'm trying to research why these are working. Because a dryer sheet makes sense to me why it's working, because it's an anti-static device. When I take a Q-tip and I, maybe spray it with some uh, static guard and stir the drills, I get why that's working. I don't understand why these are working. I think I'm learning more about it, but I'll get back to you on this. But I just wanted to let you know what's sort of floating around in here with my drills. I am then using, I have some uh, release papers. These are from Crafts with Crashly. This is I think these are by Mrs. Coffee. They're like sayings about diamond painting. Yay, it's done. I'm so over this. What is that? I'm in 310 hell. Just sort of some cute sayings. So I've been using those on here. My pen, this is a new pen to me, and I am really enjoying it. This is from Kevin's DP Pens on Etsy. Again, I'll mark it below. This is an exotic wood pen. This is a Macassar ebony wood that I looked up, and basically what it said, it's some type of wood. I believe it said from Africa. What it's known for is that its grain is straight, as opposed to grain that sometimes make those sometimes they make like arrow shaped, elongated arrow shapes, or they're crooked and stuff. It's probably hard to see on camera a little bit here with the lighting and whatnot, but there is very small like light brown grains going this way. But other than that, it's this dark ebony wood, and I love dark wood. And this thing is hefty. I thought for sure that I was going to get tired of holding it, because it is much heavier than certainly any wood pen that I've used, and certainly any resin pen that I've used. It is maybe about the weight of an Ivy's Dazzlers. If you've ever used an Ivy Dazzlers, this is an Ivy Dazzlers, or Ivy's Dazzler. And the reason these are heavy is because this is all metal. This is a full metal tip that screws in, and the metal goes up into the pen to sort of connect the resin to the tip. So these are hefty. This is even a little bit more hefty, but I'm not getting fatigued using it. So I don't know what that's about. I love it. So go check out Kevin's DP Pens on Etsy. He does some very nice work. I am using, switching up here a little bit, I'm using RoseMUDD today, and this is Shave and Haircut scent. I love this scent. It sort of smells like a men's cologne, but it also smells like, it truly does smell like you walked into a barber shop, and they've been cutting hair and giving shaves, and the different scents of the aftershave and the shaving cream and stuff like that. I love this scent, and I like RoseMUDD. Works very well for me. I know that not all putties work well for all people. That may have to do with environment, whether you're in a warm climate, cold climate, what have you. I do find this original. They have two formulas. They have the original, and then they have a 2.0, I believe. The original seems to be it's a little bit more firm, which I think it even says is good for hard placers or hard pressers, which is what I am. So I really like these. But I have a question. Well, and also about RoseMUDD, percentage of or their profits, either a percentage or all, goes to charity. This is actually run by some people that have. I was reading it. They have some type of resale shop, and the money goes back into the charity that they run. So it's a nice little organization. They have some great scents. But I have a question. This is totally off topic, but I thought I want to pose this question to the masses here. So one of the things, or one of the, it's my little mug. This was a Christmas gift that I got, and it just so happens to hold these putties really well. RoseMUDD has a series of Scooby-Doo scents, if you will. We have Velma with Jinkies scent. And this one, these all really smell good. This one smells like sort of like very powdery, perfumey. Okay. Then we have the Daphne Jeepers. Okay. And this one smells like a little bit more floral, like a clean, soapy floral. Then we have Scooby and Shaggy with Zoinks. And Scooby's jumping up into Shaggy's arms. And this one is like a spice, a little spicy to it. And then for Halloween, they had these sets of sample size. They have the villains, the cackling skeleton. They have Dracula, the minor 49er, Phantom Shadow, Redbeard Ghost, Snow Ghost, Space Kook, Witch Doctor, Wolfman, and Zombie. I loved Scooby-Doo as a kid, and so I needed to get all these, of course. So I have these. Well, I went to their website today because I have a question. You got the girls, you got Scooby and Shaggy, you got the villains. Where's Fred? Now, don't get me wrong. Fred, probably not as charismatic as the rest of these characters, but where's Fred? So it got me to thinking, and I want you to help me out here. I went to the website today to double check. I didn't see any Fred. They are having a big sale though, FYI. If you're looking for putty, go over to RoseMUDD on Etsy. I'll post the link. They're having an end of the year, not a clearance sale, but they're having a sale to get rid of some of their stock for some new offerings in the new year. So I'll post that below. But what do you think? If there was to be a Fred putty, what would it be called and what would it smell like? And I've been thinking about this for days, mind you. Like, this is what goes through my mind as I'm like doing chores around the house and stuff like that. What would Fred's putty be called and what would it smell like? So, Fred always had the scarf around his neck or the kerchief. So would it be like cravat? Would it be ascot? Like what would they call it? I don't think he didn't have, that I can remember, he didn't really have a tagline or anything. Yeah, he really didn't have a tagline. And then of course all of the zombies tagline was, dang it, if I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these kids. Um, so like, would it be called something? I don't know. He always wore the white sweater. I don't know. What would it be called? What would you think Fred's putty would be called? Then what do you think it would smell like? Now, I know that it was like, I think I looked it up. Scooby-Doo came out in 1969 and then obviously ran through the 70s. I forget for exactly how long. So, um I did look up some of the popular clones from the 1970s. I was born very early 70s, so I don't remember scents and stuff from the 70s, but I remember the 80s. And there was one scent that carried over to those 80s because I remember very clearly you would be walking down the halls in high school and you would gag on a cloud of polo. Some guy would have it in his locker and he was constantly spraying it on every time in between classes. And I just, I got to the point where I just can't stand the smell of polo. Would that be what Fred's putty would smell like? Like, I think about the 60s and the 70s and, the shaggy smell of this, the spiciness reminds me a little bit like patchouli that was known for covering up other scents. But what would Fred's putty smell like? I'm going to say it was either polo or Old Spice. I don't know, there were some other popular men's colognes back in the day, but do you think it would even be cologne? Would it be something else? I don't know, that's just what it popped to my mind when I was thinking about what would Fred's putty smell like. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my little silicone um, thimble on here and start putting down some diamonds as we start chatting about the week. So if you don't know, if you don't haven't seen, I think it was back in my first video, I explained that I use this silicone um, thimble to help give me some stability as I'm putting down drills. I can put this on the canvas and not stick. Comes especially handy when I'm trying to multi-place and I need that little extra support on the canvas. When before, what I would do is I try to move a release paper around and it was very clumsy, or I was just putting my finger down on the canvas. And while I wasn't doing anything to hurt the canvas, it was just like every time it'd be like, it was like trying to unstick my finger was crazy. So I thought of this and it works out very well. So, okay, I am doing this sort of this symbol. What would you call that symbol? I call this the Lincoln because it reminds me of, is it the Lincoln hood ornament? My dad used to drive a Lincoln, and when the hood ornaments used to stick up, uh, off of the hood, and you could bend it because when you went through the car washes and stuff, it wanted to bend. And now they just mostly just stick them onto the car. But so I'm going to go ahead and start placing some drills here. So how are you? How are you doing? How has your week been? How was your holiday? If you celebrated Christmas or if you celebrate Hanukkah or just winter solstice or what have you, that's all been within the past week or so. Um, how are you? My holiday was very quiet. I hung out here at home with my dog Sammy, and I did some diamond painting. Um, and I listened to a lot of the Christmas premieres here on YouTube of the different creators. I hope that if you haven't watched them, if you weren't watching them then or you didn't watch them on replay yet, go back and watch them. They are really there's some really cool things that people did with their premieres. Um, a lot of people did like a whip and chat style, and they did some tag questions. I did some tag questions. I wanted to do something else, but I got a little bit of a late notice that I was participating, so I had a day to come up with uh, my plan. So I did a little bit of looked at some diamond painting accessories that could also double as Christmas decorations. And then I did whip and chat and did some tag questions. So even the tag questions, even though there were several different variations of them that the different creators were doing, it's still an interesting way to learn a little bit more about the creators. But then also as you're listening to them, you're like, oh yeah, I totally remember that. That everybody brings up something a little different from, in this instance, childhood Christmases and whatnot. And yeah, it's just really, it's a really great what's the word I want to say, like program process. I don't know. I know that Crashly from Crafts with Crashly would put it together primarily this year. She worked on it with someone else, originated it, and Crashly has sort of just continued to carry the torch. And it is just so great for folks who either you don't have a lot of family, or you're not going to spend the holidays with your family and you're going to be home alone, that you can just sort of have these friendly voices going in the background. Um, uh, or if you do have family over and you need a break, and you can get away to your craft room, sit down and watch a premiere to just de-stress a little bit. But they're also fantastic watching in replays. And I know a lot of people are watching them in replays because I'm still getting some comments um, on my premiere that's out there. And I think that's great that people are going back and even if they didn't have a chance to watch it the first time around, watching it in replay certainly does help support the creators. Um, what what I found amazing was, so there were was it was Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day for in Canada, which is the day after Christmas. I think they also celebrate it in the UK, but I think it's primarily there for our, well, Canada is actually part of, it's not part of that. I could get in trouble with Canadian, but it's, what are they? I forget what they call it, but it's it's a division of the UK. Um, but so those folks have the day off on Boxing Day. Typically, it's their version of a Black Friday, I believe, is essentially how it's been explained to me. But pretty much premieres are running all 3 days. They may have ended a little bit earlier than, or early on Boxing Day, but they went around the clock from 12:01 Christmas Eve morning through to sometime in the evening of Boxing Day. So that's what, 24, 48, like 68 hours, 65 hours, like two and almost three full days worth of creators doing these videos. And they weren't repeats. There were different um, videos every hour or two. I think there was at least one that I know that was 2 hours, but it was pretty much every hour. So I think that's amazing. That is just amazing. I watch creators, and I didn't realize that there were that many creators out there. So it's even if you um, didn't have a chance to watch it during the holidays because you were busy, even if you just want to look through it and be like, you know what, I want to follow somebody new. I want to hear a new voice as I'm working um, on my diamond paintings. Go through, and it's a great way to like sort of shop around for a new creator to follow. I mean, if nothing else, that's a great use for that. I also heard somebody say, or in a comment somewhere, they really appreciated it, especially in at night, because they sleep with their TV on. So they just put YouTube on their TV, and they were lulled to sleep by the ASMR that is diamond painting, whether it's the click of the drills releasing from the wax, or just the talking about the various uh, things about diamond painting. Um, and then there were some folks that um, did some different things. And when I say different, I mean in a good way. Like, I think a lot of folks were like, um, ooh, we want to do something a little bit different for next year. But they would take you around. There was one lady who, obviously, she lives in or around Paris. She took you around Paris. Then someone else sort of took you around their house to see the Christmas decorations. They baked some cookies and played some games with family members. It was just really nice to just again have something on in the background while you're working on diamond paintings, or, on the holidays, but certainly something that will keep your attention if you put them on and listen to them as you're working on your um, diamond paintings. So I'll go ahead and link the playlist down below, and you can take a look to see. Certainly I advocate listening to all of them, or at least starting. There are sometimes you just hear somebody and they're like, "This is what I like to do," and you're like, "Yeah, I don't like doing that, so skip it." But give everybody a thumbs up. It did take everybody time to put those together, so you definitely want to help them out that way. So yeah, though that was great. I know New Year's. I don't think there's any type of premiere playlist out there. Oh, and in case you don't know what a premiere is on YouTube, a premiere is it's a pre-recorded video, but when it goes up, the chat is live. And more often than not, the creator who did the video was in the chat. So you were able to chat directly with the creator, just like it was a live broadcast, but the video itself wasn't live. And if anything, I think what I really liked about that is it gave me an opportunity to interact more with the folks that were in the chat, because when you're doing a live, it's like you're thinking about what you need to talk about next. You're thinking about a question that you were just asked, whatnot. Some things are liable to slip by you in that chat, whereas here I could focus on the chat and talk with folks and even make fun of myself. When, oh, I know I said something stupid here, but I didn't want to go back and edit it out. I'd be like, what did I just say? So they're really fun. So nothing that I know of for New Year's like that. However, I do know that a number of creators, including myself, Ditsy's Diamond Den is putting together sort of like an online get together of some creators that everyone is invited um, to help celebrate, bring in the new year. There will be a special guest from Art and Soul. Melissa from Art and Soul, I believe, is scheduled to be there, just to talk about what's coming up from Art and Soul for the year. And it is bound to be a good time. So I'll post that down below, and you can watch that. What we're trying to do is simulcast it from all the different creators' channels. So you will be able to come to my channel. If you subscribe to my channel and sign up for alerts, you'll get alerted when we go live. But the same live will be showing on Ditsy's channel, on Tammy's channel, on whoever else is involved, the other creators. It'll be simulcast to all of those different channels. The whole point being is trying to get, um, trying to involve as much as the community as possible. And I think that's a great way to do that. And if it works, I'm still trying to, the instructions. If you ever saw the movie Beetlejuice, the instructions read like, uh, stereo instructions, on how to get that to work. So trying it out. Um, but if we can get that hooked up, it may be a really great way to make sure that, um, we're breaking down some of those silos and creating connections in the community, when we have live events. Um, so yeah, and what does everyone have planned for the new year? Um, I think a lot of people, they tend to stay at home because you don't want to go out and deal with, drunk drivers and whatnot. But I also know that some people do go, places, and whether it's they go to spend the night somewhere or they do go out for an evening. What do you have planned? I typically, uh, usually am at home watching the various, New Year's Eve broadcasts. Always something interesting happening there, on one or more of the broadcasts that is going to be talked about the next day, on the news and whatnot. So definitely, uh, enjoy doing that. And if I make it to New Year's Eve, um, or to New Year's Day, I guess you can say, great. Sometimes I don't. Just depends on how I feel. Usually have some snacky snacks, cheese and crackers, and maybe some chips and dip and stuff like that. And usually get some type of treat for Sammy, so that we can both, partake in the evening. Um, and yeah, it's, uh, a New Year's Eve at home. The best New Year's Eves at home is when it's snowing outside, and that it's just like, ugh, I would be out there probably dressed up, sludging through snow or sleet or what have you. But instead, I'm here in my nice warm house, with some good food. Ooh, that reminds me, I have to go to Trader Joe's tomorrow. Trader Joe's, if you have a Trader Joe's where you live, um, Trader Joe's is, they're owned by the same company they're owned by Aldi, but there's two different, Aldi's. There's an Aldi North and an Aldi South in Germany. They're owned by, I forget which one, but they're owned by an Aldi company, but they're not Aldi. They're like sort of the opposite. Their prices aren't like completely astronomical, but it's not an Aldi. Um, but they have really good snacks and appetizers, and, um, what did I have last year that I want to get again? They were feta and onion tarts. So these little, only about this big, maybe the size of, half dollar, maybe, um, uh, puff pastry that was put into like a muffin tin, mini muffin tin, and then, has caramelized onions and feta cheese in it. Oh, so good. You have the buttery of the pastry dough. You have the sharp tang of the goat's cheese, and then you have the sweetness of the onions. Ugh, drooling just thinking about it. So I'm definitely gonna have to run to Trader Joe's. I could go tomorrow before when they first open, before it gets crazy. Not that it'll be crazy on a weekday, but you never know. A lot of people may have this week off, like I do, at least at the beginning of the week. Um, so the week of New Year's. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna go get that. They have some great wines, a great selection of wine. They just have some really different things. And yeah, I have to go there. So what else? New Year's, staying in, snow. Um, yeah, I think that's what I have planned. So let me know down below what your plans are. If you're doing something fun, please let me know. Love to live vicarious through you. My goal one year is to do a New Year's Eve a cruise over the new year, but I grew up watching the Poseidon Adventure. If you know anything about that movie, it's where the boat gets tipped over by a big old wave, and it is New Year's Eve. Yeah, that does live in my head. So uh, that will definitely be something that I will be concerned about. But of course, I'll be on a cruise and I will have a frozen drink in my hand, so I probably won't be that concerned about it. So okay, so what else? What else? Oh, so some things that I ran across this week that I thought, you know what? I think this some other people in the community may um, what's the word? This may ring true for them as well, or at minimum, it's just interesting stuff to listen to while you're diamond painting. But not to play into the stereotype here. One of a friend in the community refers to me as the professor, because I have like diamond painting theories and stuff like that, and I like to train people. I actually was trying to be a teacher at one point, but I ran across some articles that I wanted to talk about that sort of. I was just these were like really like, ooh, these sound interesting. Discover magazine. Yes, I still read a physical magazine, but this is an amazingly interesting magazine. It comes out once every 2 months, so it's not like I'm getting weekly magazines or anything that I can't keep up with. But they have some really interesting stuff in here. So I went through and marked them, and I highlighted some areas that I want to talk to you a little bit about. So the first article, it's called "The Science Behind Cute Aggression," and what this article talked about is, and actually I felt very attacked by this article, so I'm going to read this opening paragraph. Some people see something cute and want to hold it, squeeze it tight, and call it George. Others might feel an urge to take an adorable paw or floppy ear and pretend to eat it. Some may even pantomime chomping on the adorable creature while saying nom nom nom. I will neither confirm nor deny doing all three of those to my dog, Sammy. But the question that this person had was, if we love something, why would we act like we're hurting it? So what the article goes on to explain is what they're calling cute aggression, which is what they're calling a dimorphous expression, or basically an expression of two different things, um, with and it's an emotional response when a person experiences more than one emotion at a time. So the way that they describe it is, there is some type of stimulus or thing that sets the person off, such as your dog sitting on the couch, looking all cute, the ears up, or the ears flopped open or something like that, and that prompts an emotional response, uh, and the person becomes overwhelmed with the feeling of cuteness, um, and the expressive behavior, the expression maybe the dog has, or whatever the dog is doing, or the cat, but I have a dog. So then what is when the person then experiences this other expression of sort of technically what would be hurting the animal, but it's expressing more love. Um, you know, by saying nom 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 nom, trying to eat their ear, eat their paw, what have you. So I just thought this was really interesting. So they talk about how people who experience this um, are easily get overwhelmed by emotion. I thought that was really interesting because I've been accused during my life of being emotionless. And I've been thinking on that since I read this article. Like, am I really emotionless? And I think part of it, part of my work over the years being in human resources, you do have to be emotionless. You cannot sit there and cry in front of the person that you're firing or laying off, even though it is destroying you emotionally. You can't sit there and do that. You have to sort of keep the stiff upper lip and either just get the job done or appropriately empathize with the person and move on, because you have either four more people to lay off that day or you now have to go do payroll. So maybe there's a bit of training that comes into play with the fact that I appear um, to not have emotion, but really deep down, it's really getting to me. The only times that it never that I've had to discipline someone in the workplace or um, terminate someone's employment, the only time it never bothered me is when the person did something to really deserve it. I mean, truth be told, it was still sad. I'm sad that I have to release you from your employment here, but you did something stupid. Whether they stole money, or perhaps there was one employee that they were the top salesperson in the company that I worked for, the top salesperson in their division, I should say. And they were, how can I explain this, but yet keep it generic enough? So we had a system where when a customer would call into the company, the phone system would do a round robin to all of the associates at all of our locations to see who was free and who hadn't taken a phone call in the last 20 minutes or something like that, and it would route the call to that person. Well, someone alerted me to, in the call center, they're like, hey, this person has a large number of abandoned phone calls. Just giving you a heads up. So I pulled some reports, and this person had literally hundreds of calls that lasted less than 15 seconds. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, all of our calls were recorded. Your call will be recorded for training purposes. They are really recorded. So I went and pulled the recordings, and you would hear this person or a person pick up the phone, pick up the receiver, and hang up. Or they'd pick up the receiver. Hi, thank you for calling. Hello, hello, click. So I thought, okay, this is interesting. So went to the tech people and I said, hey, you have any tickets open for this person's phone or equipment or anything that would, justify the reason that maybe they're not hearing the customer? Like, have they opened up a ticket to get that fixed? No, we don't have anything. Okay. And then there were just these hangups that, what the heck is this person doing? Well, in talking with the manager of the call center, we figured out what this person was doing was they were, in their mind, so busy doing other things that they didn't have the time to take a customer service phone call because they wanted to be out talking to customers, cold calling customers, talking to people at the branch, whatever, playing tiddlywinks. I don't know what the heck they were doing. But they were too good to take these customer service calls, is basically the point. So what they were doing was they were picking up the phone and the system would say, up, this person took a call, and it wouldn't ring their call for at least another 20 or 30 minutes because the system would say they just took a call, so we're going to give this to someone else, regardless of the fact that the call lasted 1 second. The same thing with the pickups and the, I can't hear you type thing. It still registered a phone call. So that person then got in an uninterrupted 20 to 30 minutes for whatever they were doing, napping or what have you. So it was seen as a theft of time. And this person knew better. They were also in a training program. So this is not this is not the time to goof off when you're trying to train for a management position. So I had to go out and fire them. And that one, while I was sad and I wanted to respect the person because, yes, they made a stupid judgment call, but they're still a person and they're going to be out of a job here. At the same time, I'm just like, what the hell were you thinking? What were you thinking? So maybe because of that, I've been told that I don't have these emotions because I am the person that leaves the situation and it really bothers me outside of the situation. So, I may be driving home very upset or get off the phone call and be very upset, what have you. So I don't know, but clearly I have too many emotions when it comes to my dog, which I will wear that badge proudly. So let's see. They talk about acute aggression involves both the emotion and reward system. Like, I guess the fact that I want to nibble on Sammy's ears is some type of reward to me. I don't know what that's about. And somehow this dimorphious emotion, the second emotion, somehow helps to regulate the overwhelming feeling and even calms the person down. Now, that I find interesting because I do suffer from pretty, at times, pretty significant anxiety. So, is this truly a calming mechanism that I'm taking advantage of, or hoping to take advantage of to seek some type of comfort? So I thought that was really interesting, and I had a mental health tie-in here, and I know a lot of us come to this craft for the mental health therapeutic benefits. So I just thought that was interesting and sort of a cute story, if nothing else. So do you ever do that? Do you ever have cute aggression towards a pet? I remember that article opened up with, I want to love him and hug him and call him George. That used to be, I looked it up and it was from, was it a story, some type of story? But I remember there was specifically some cartoon, I think it was a Warner Brothers cartoon when I was a kid, that had the guy saying, I want to love him and I want to hug him and I want to call him George. Um, and so, uh, do you ever feel that way? What do you feel about that being some type of coping mechanism? Um, you know, I think it's an interesting theory. I would have never have thought to look into it as part of like a study or an article, but hey, good thinking on their part because I do think that there's definitely it's an interesting idea, if anything else. The second article here is called "Collecting Your Thoughts," and essentially, what this screamed to me was, this is us in the diamond painting community. I think you've all heard there's two different hobbies. There's doing the diamond painting, but then there's the collecting the diamond paintings, right? So what this talks about is how there's an estimated 1 in 3 adults collect something, and collecting could come with cognitive perks such as enhancing memory, forging new connections in the brain, and even triggering the body's relaxation response. And that collecting feeds the pleasure center of the brain, but without the drawbacks of alcohol, gambling, or nicotine. So it goes on. I'll spare you more of what it says here, but this was very interesting to me. So a couple things. Number one, I know that there's people that struggle with addiction. So is this basically an addiction? Like I think a lot of times I know I say very tongue in cheek that, yeah, this is an addiction. I need to get that new painting. I'm addicted. But is it an addiction? And if it is an addiction and there's these true mental health benefits from collecting, which is what we do when we buy all of these diamond paintings go in our stash, why doesn't my insurance pay for my diamond painting? Like, why can't I go and use my health savings funds or my flexible spending account and buy myself a bunch of diamond paintings out there somewhere? I don't know. In a perfect world, maybe someday when I decide to run for president, that's the platform I'll run on. Free diamond painting for everyone because it's going to be covered under your insurance. I don't know. But just two things that made me think of the community that I wanted to share with you, whether, like I said, it strikes you as something interesting or just something that maybe really strikes low close to home. So we are coming up on the hour mark, so I'm going to wrap this up. Everyone, please have a happy New Year and a safe New Year's. If you're going out somewhere, please be safe. Even if you're staying at home, please be safe. A lot of times people are making, special meals or what have you. And, you always hear about on the holidays, the influx of trips to the emergency room for sliced hands because the knife slipped, or they dumped the hot gravy or soup or something and they have burns on their hands or their lap and stuff like that. So please, whatever you're doing, please be safe. Have a happy new year. I wish everybody the best for the new year. I'm really, really looking forward to continuing this channel and helping it grow throughout the 2025, because I have ideas and I think you all have given me some ideas and suggestions that I just want to implement on and help be a link in the chain of the diamond painting community. That's really what my goal is. So everybody, thank you very much for sticking around. Remember, please click the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And everybody, I will talk to you next time. And remember, there is no right or wrong way to diamond paint. So when you diamond paint, you do you. Thank you very much. Chat with you next time. Bye-bye.